On May 26, 2025, Bloomfield officer Daniel Weaver, new to the department with 2 months of service but over 4 years prior experience, stopped a vehicle at a gas station after scanning the license plate and finding it was suspended for insurance issues.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Do you have your license registration?
I left my license before I left the house today. That's why.
Okay. Do you have ID on you?
No.
No? Do you have a driver's license though?
Yes.
We have blue tags on the vehicle.
Okay.
Registration for 2015.
Yeah, it's just a receipt, huh?
If it shows the vehicle with the VIN number, if you look at receipt number.
Can I get your ID as well? You have your seatbelt on, boss.
I just picked it up.
You guys said both.
Your ass got pulled over and your seatbelt was still not on your whatchamacallit. You know what I'm saying? My mama always be telling me, motherfucker, I don't be in the car. You know what I'm saying? My shit don't be in there. You know what I'm saying? Young, just being young. You feel me? But as soon as we see the police, well, you better put your motherfucking seatbelt on. You know what I'm saying? At least just put it up right here, just because we passed and shit, that'll take it back off. So whatever. Shorty act like she's so gangster, she ain't even put her seatbelt on when the truck started the traffic stop. And then, your driver already ain't got none of the shit that the police want. You don't got none of your shit. But you driving though. You know what I'm saying?
I see your ID and seatbelt buckle, so 6 seconds, just like that, we'll be right back with you, okay?
As Officer Weaver runs their information, Officer Timothy Ontiveros patrols nearby. Ontiveros has 6 months with Bloomfield Police and a 1.5 years of total experience. During Ontiveros' patrol, a civilian driver with dash and cab cameras voices his opinions of police, seemingly to himself. That's not an editing error. The civilian repeats the sentence as if recording a second take. Officer Ontiveros, unaware of the civilian's comments, sees their passenger headlight out, prompting a traffic stop.
3113, 1054.
And we will do it again.
Meanwhile, Officer Weaver makes a discovery about his own pulled-over driver.
Her 27 showed as provisional already surrendered. Expired 7/26. Anything for this?
With only a surrendered license in the system.
Her 27 showed as provisional already surrendered. Expired 7/26. Anything for this?
With only a surrendered license in the system, Officer Weaver can only assume the driver is unlicensed. As Weaver presumably writes these citations, Officer Ontiveros approaches his own stopped civilian.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words,
Fold them your big ass, bro. What if you in a neighborhood and you gotta run from one of these young niggas out here? Nigga, what the fuck your fat ass gonna do? We know what you gonna do. You gonna get in that car and try to chase a nigga. You feel me? Out of shape ass nigga, bro. Get out. Retire. Retire, nigga. Yeah, nigga. You probably like. If you still in your 20s, you shouldn't be in your 20s looking like that. But if you, I don't care. Retire.
Hello, Officer Ontiveros, Bloomfield Police.
Yes, sir.
You might roll down your window so I can talk to you?
I can hear you just fine, thank you.
Okay. So, the reason why I pulled you over is you ain't got a headlight.
I saw it burn out on the way in.
Okay, that's fine. So you're aware you don't have a headlight?
Well, what I'm aware of is that it burned out.
You got your driver's license, your registration, and insurance. You want to go to court or you want to pay a fine?
Stupid paper.
So you don't want to roll down your window so I can hear you better. Go ahead and pass it out.
No, I'm not going to be doing that, thank you.
Okay, so this is how it's going to work. That is a criminal offense. You have to provide your ID. If not, you're now concealing ID. We're going to take you to jail. Your choice.
New Mexico state law requires it to be provided and exhibited. It does not say I have to hold you.
Okay, that's fine.
There it is.
That's fine. And just second.
There's 2129, are you able to break? 10-4, he's gonna be at Broadway and North.
Staying 5. Hey, you guys are gonna go. You don't have a license, okay? So swap with him. He's here to drive, okay? Your license is surrendered, son.
Luckily for these civilians, they are released without citation.
They lucky. They lucky they got assault. I mean, you feel me? Like, that is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. If a nigga pull over 2 females and be having the same shit that a nigga or men would have, or it's like a different race or whatever having in that car, you know what I'm saying? But you're men though, you feel me? But they'll just slap on the wrist and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And just go to the next person. Man, hell no, bro. I feel man. Trip out like how y'all would trip out with a regular nigga.
Due to Officer Ontiveros calling for backup.
So you don't want to hand me your ID. I'm gonna ask you one more time.
The law says it must be provided and exhibited. It does not say I have to hand you anything.
I pulled his vehicle over for no headlight, and he's not wanting to give me his ID.
It says provided and exhibited, and nowhere in all 4 pages of it.
10-4 for now, or do we need 10-4 for now. I'll just sit with him until I can get an ID.
Right there. That's the law.
Just like I said, headlight is a criminal offense. This is the reason why I pulled you over. If you read your state statute, it says you have to provide identification when a crime is being committed or has been committed.
Hey, turned out his light is an ordinance violation.
That's fine.
Not a crime.
The headlight is a state. It's city, state, it's everywhere.
It says provided and exhibited. It does not say I have to hand you anything.
As well.
I'm not concealing anything.
You are
Right there in front of
ID.
you.
I asked for your information.
And I am providing it and exhibiting it exactly as the law says.
That is perfectly fine.
Good.
So you know what happens, right? If you don't provide your information, you have to go,
Right there in
you have
front
to
of
go
you.
to a judge immediately, correct?
That's not true either.
is, okay.
I am within the law on this provided and exhibited, and you know it.
Okay.
You're just trying to get around it, or I'm not going to play your game.
I just want to make sure you're aware of all of this.
What I'm aware of is that you're trying to be a tyrannical, egomaniacal badge fuck, and I'm not going to let you get away with it. I'm holding you to the law. You don't like the letter of the law? That's your problem.
I mean, shit, he already gave you your ID. I mean, well, he ain't give him the ID, but he gave you his name. You can see it on the shit and just go put me on the thing or whatever. He just wants your ID or some shit like that. So, like, you need the ID so, like, you can't go nowhere. He must know something. He must know something up. He got some shit. His past probably...
Perfectly fine.
See about that.
Officer Ontiveros and the subject wait silently as Officer Weaver arrives. Before speaking to the civilian, Weaver places stop sticks under their truck in case he attempts to flee.
Passenger headlight.
Your ass should have left right there. Oh, shit. Your ass should have left right there. Damn, big folks. Watch this nigga still try to, you know what I'm saying, scurve off on the ass.
Thank you. Roll your window down.
It's down enough, thank you.
Roll your window all the way down.
It is down enough, thank you. You can bluster and fume till your eyes burst out of your head, and I am not breaking the law by doing that, and you do know it.
Okay, I'm Officer Weaver, okay? What's your name?
I'm providing it right there.
You need to provide it in my hand.
The law says provided and exhibited, and in all 5 pages of it, nowhere does it say I have to hand it to you or surrender it to you. And you are violating the law.
I'm gonna break your window off. Roll your window down.
See, now the police being a dick. Y'all, you never went to your fucking, you know what I'm saying? You got his name, bro. Just put him in the motherfucking, you feel me? But his car fucked up. I mean, shit, it's a stolen car. or whatever, right? Not that what the police said. Not that why he pulled him over.
I have done my job according to the law, provided and exhibited.
To go slow with him, just tell him this is your last warning to work a window down.
Officer, I am within the law.
You're not. Hold on. You're not, because a crime is being committed, so you have to provide
And
identification.
I am providing it, and I am exhibiting it according to state law.
So when an officer provides, it's covered.
Officers point out that his license is physically covered with a sticker. Post-incident police reports indicate the sticker covered his name and address.
The name is covered because of so many bad slugs that like to do that name run routine.
Why you got a sticker named on your ID? That's weird. I never even really used my ID like that. For real. You feel? Shit, that motherfucker just be there. Just got it cause I got it, yeah.
And I'm all too familiar with you guys. You take the name,
They got some shit that got down. You got shit some high, nigga.
run just the name, roll out the window right now. Run just the name, looking for
We're breaking this up. Oh, sorry.
Officer Weaver smashed the subject's window 6 minutes and 25 seconds after the first words of the stop were exchanged, and less than 2 minutes after he approached the vehicle himself.
Back up, dude.
Your last week, you can't.
Sergeant,
And he gonna sit right there, waiting for the glass to your eyes, all type of shit, just so he can get a check. He must. That's how I would think, but I probably, man, y'all ass tweaking.
Michael Wells, who was assisting another officer with an unrelated DWI investigation, leaves to respond to the escalating situation with Weaver and Ontiveros.
You got a wheel breaker? Let's pop it. Pop it, dude. Let's pop it.
The police report notes the sound captured on the subject's in-car camera is, quote, an unbuckling of a holster strap and the clear sound of a firearm being pulled.
I don't think so.
So, are you going to provide your information? What are you doing?
I have provided my information.
Hand me your driver's
I am
license.
not going to hand you a driver's license so you can do that name run routine and attempt to set me up with somebody else's warrant. That is exactly what you do. They take the name. They run just the name.
No.
Then they look for any name like it that has a warrant that's even similar to the name. David Reader versus the state of Pennsylvania, that's what they proved.
While no case was found under David Reader versus Pennsylvania, his description of the case sounds like David Sosa versus Florida, where a man who shared names with a wanted individual was repeatedly misidentified, arrested, and held in jail despite informing officers. The court sided with the officers in that case.
They caught him on camera doing it. They ran just the name in an attempt to get away. I believe this is high-strength plexiglass.
Bro, I thought they used to thing this long shit. They hit like one time the whole motherfucking shit just shatter food. You know what I'm saying? This nigga right here.
This is a four-wheel drive vehicle. It probably will break eventually. I don't understand your problem. I'm the one within the law.
Because
If you want to break the law on me, I will treat you like the criminal friend that you are.
so you're going to open it.
I am not going to open my window. I'm doing what the law
Why this nigga so mad?
says. You might want to get your
Provide
sergeant
your
out here.
information.
I am providing.
This nigga ain't get no pussy last night, folks. Or whatever. He just been mad for the last 3 days or whatever. You feel me? Bitch been tripping. You know what I'm saying? Treating this goof ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with
My
this?
Intersection point window breaker's not working, so maybe your fault.
I'm sorry you're having
The
some
police
trouble.
the police coming over here like it's an emergency, bro. Like it's just he ain't giving the ID. He gave you his name and shit, and ain't got no warrants and shit. But they, you description or whatever they said they heard or whatever. Something they looking for something, man. Still bad, nigga.
but that is the letter of the law, provided and exhibited. That's an ordinance violation, not a crime.
No, it is a crime. Your headlight is a crime. That's the reason why I'm trying to make coffee.
Oh, he popped his ass. Oh, yeah, yeah. That nigga got damn, folks. Cause they got the spikes and shit, so he can't even go nowhere, fool. This how he going.
Your headlight is a crime. That's the reason why I'm trying to make coffee.
The shooting begins just before Sergeant Wells arrives. Unaware, he sends this message over the radio while the shooting unfolds.
Hey, if that nigga is still alive, ain't no way, folks. He got straight neck shots and head shots, folks. All that shit in his spine, phone them folks. Hey, phone them fuck.
Just 9 minutes and 13
Hey,
seconds past the officer on Tiveros initiating the traffic stop to the first shots fired by the subject. We have opted to include some images of the first aid provided. Just 9 minutes and 13 seconds passed from officer on Tiveros initiating the traffic stop to the first shots fired by the subject.
Like, bro, traffic stops, like, they be long as hell, bro. This one didn't even start 10 minutes and somebody already got popped, bro. You wanna know why? Cause it was one of them so aggressive as hell. You know what I'm saying? He not going. He's trying to be cool. He ain't, damn. If it was him, I'd be okay. You feel me? But they didn't have to pop him though. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Fuck the dicks for sure.
We have opted to include some images of the first aid provided due to the educational value of treating a gunshot wound. However, we do not show close-up images. Traffic stop to the first shots fired by the subject. We have opted to include some images of the first aid provided due to the educational value of treating a gunshot wound. However, we do not show close-up images of gunshot victims.
29 shots fired, shots fired. Where you at? Where you at? 315, send us 55 Kenny. Sarge, you mark on angles. I'm watching this guy.
Sergeant Wells started his first response.
Yeah, that nigga dead, folks.
Their career as an EMT and has actively obtained his medical license for roughly 18 years, making him the ideal officer to aid on Tiveros.
If you want to get shot, fuck you!
Is he still shooting?
Sarge, I got you. I'm coming to you. I can see him.
What is that noise, folks? Ain't no way them some new shots.
315.
Bro, that nigga, damn.
Get us 55 Kenny. Keep one officer down.
He's straight there. Damn. What the? No. Look at him, folks.
I can see him.
He moving in that truck.
315. Get us 55 Kenny.
He moving.
Keep one officer down.
Look at him. Is he limped up? But they shot his head. Oh yeah. He ain't got his hat on, folks. They shot that motherfucker off. That nigga limp. Damn.
Damn, I got you, man. I got you.
At this point, multiple officers abandon their citations and other duties to rush to the scene.
Okay, I am gonna have to let you go. We have a shooting coming out right now, so don't worry about your son. He's not in any trouble. You have a wonderful evening, okay? Where you are? Get an officer down.
It's like it's a shooting right now. Everything that's going on right now, it don't matter no more. Come here.
If you move, you're gonna be shot again. You don't fucking understand me. Do not move. Damn, I got you, man. Got an officer shot in the neck. Can you notify 390
Realizing the shooting, this officer releases a DWI suspect.
Get out. Sir, you were not driving home? I'm gonna hold on to your car keys.
Here's your keys, here's your phone, okay? Sir, please, all your paperwork's inside the car. I'll drop you. Hey, Tim.
I ain't never seen it. Look at all that blood down there. That's the AR down there. Damn. That should be crazy though. The police, they be, see like, it be popping down there where they at, so, you feel me? All them people, all them dicks that they got, uncaught. I'll go home, so. We'll think about this, we'll talk about this later, nigga. For right now, say, fuck around here.
Hey, Tim. I secured my driver's vehicle. Yeah, stay with me, bro. Hey, Sarge, where are you getting back as soon as we can, okay? Medics and Sire are coming to you, Sarge. Alright, when you get here, I need you to secure my shotgun and call paramedics. Is he conscious? No, he's not conscious. He's at no respiration. I got a bullet hole here, left chest. I got one right in the neck. You're okay, Frank. Boss, is there any way you can move him away from the trunk? Yeah, that's what I'm all right from his neck, bro. Okay, I got you. That's me, don't worry. Please, grab his belt, we need to drag out.
Turn that nigga truck off or something, nigga. Damn.
Right in the neck. Right in the middle of the neck. One on the side of the chest.
Let's start the deal.
Chest shot.
Right there.
Like, you wanna pop him again?
Are you good? You save yourself? No, you got him? Sweet, yeah. Great, man.
It's still for a pulse.
Breathe. He's got a pulse. It's me.
One, two, three, go.
We're gonna need
Traffic blocked off by Sunray, Andrea, and all those lights headed to the hospital.
They said phone number. You started all this shit, nigga. So we gonna help phone them first, nigga. Your ass ain't getting in the stretcher right now. Your ass come right there and bleed out real quick. And I feel like that's kind of fucked up. But they the police. They don't care. They need all their soldiers. But man.
Driver in the truck, obvious defensive. Hey, I'm okay. He's not good. He's headed to the ER now with medics. Find anywhere? I don't see you hit anywhere. Leave it there.
So they can get to the hospital. Also created if you want to escalate them.
1311 last word. Medics are transporting now. We can get the traffic blocked off.
Hey, do I need to sense that guy?
He's 10-7. I mean, you can take the 13 if you want, but...
Fuck around, we're gonna escort them. It's right here.
I also need to walk around, okay, and make sure we don't have anything struck anywhere.
We're gonna get in front of you. We're gonna go, yeah, we're gonna all clear intersections so we can go straight away. Yeah, you're clear right. Just get the speed now.
Crowded? Yeah. Where do you want? 10. All with the back of my head.
jail. I told you he was a little aggressive. You feel me? I understand. I don't know what the fuck was gonna happen with bro. If all the police, he can't shoot all the police. So everybody over there, like, niggas ain't going to jail, bro. Niggas really be mindset like that. I ain't going back, or I'm never going. I'd rather die before you feel me? Let the motherfuckers cuff me, man. How you think he feel, man? I don't know, you feel me?
It's like, damn, bro, if I ain't just stop his shit, I ain't hit his window.
My homie be here. Yeah, nigga.
Shut down your camera. That casing was on his belt. Okay, was it? Yep, it was right above his belt.
Sorry, where you get hit? In the chest.
In that pressy table. Pressy table.
I'm okay. Peter's okay.
Where else on the way to the ER?
What you doing all that shit during the scene, boy? Nigga crying during the scene. That's your fault. It was your fault. If he died, it's your fault, bro. That's why you crying. He was like, you already know. That's your fault, bro. You were doing way too much, bro. Yeah.
Let's go!
They outside, nigga. Poppin', nigga.
Hey, I've got Dylan here.
Where is your name? I'm okay.
Yeah, just...
I'm okay. I'll be home wherever I can. I have stuff to do after this, so I love you. I'm not injured. Nothing like that. I can't really talk about any of this on film. I'm okay though. I can't talk about any of this stuff. I love you, baby.
It look like this nigga in the country. This motherfucker's in the country. Folks now.
So he's gonna stop for this intersection. You're gonna keep going through it. Once we clear it, we're gonna leapfrog it, keep this going. He'll eventually catch up and get behind you like you did with him, okay?
Y'all niggas still ain't there? Damn. Damn.
RLP is on the way in, but he's going to be in a private loop.
Sorry.
Boom, boom. Open your fucking window.
That's your jobs who? Alright, you know what I'm
Cars to the right in front of them.
Sorry, shots were fired from. I went to go. I only need a very, very basic. Which way? Sorry, approximately how many? Probably 5 or 6.
Damn, that nigga dead. Yeah, that nigga dead. Hospital like 15 minutes away.
Last name is Monteveros.
Nobody's outstanding? Nobody's outstanding. Sure? Yep, okay. So I'll get back. Okay. Yeah,
Is this a girl that's at home? Started crying. I can't touch it, I'm motherfucking home. That nigga check. That's what I said. Damn, short.
Just talk on a missing kid case, man. Is there high? You okay? Exciting night. It's the last time we fight you at my house. How's Lance doing? He had acting it up. He had a 47 hook, let him walk, and flew over here and is running like a seasoned champ. Yeah, like this over here. Yeah, I mean, you can maybe over there and that. What's wrong with this guy? The one in the front?
Failing to provide ID.
Yeah. I feel like even if you got the warrants and all whatever, you feel me? Ain't nothing better than your life, nigga, you feel me? So, you feel me? But when people want that shit, just give it to them. You feel me? I don't fault. You know what I'm saying? But to see it another day is beautiful, nigga. They got straight women in this goddamn room. You need to cut that shit. Is the police supposed to laugh and shit at the suspect that's dead and shit after they shot their ass? You feel me? Like they slid back for they, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The other officers and shit, they slid back on real quick, but nigga, y'all perfect, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Professionals, nigga. Y'all just loggy-dagging and shit like that, you feel me? Trying to keep him happy and shit. He started all this shit. Bro was still here right now if he ain't stopped. Cause he ain't never, but he ain't never tell him stop though. You feel me? Bro ain't never tell his ass stop, nigga. Like, chill. He's supposed to protect both each other. But still though, doing wrong.
Like, hey, I gotta go. You're out of here, man. Have a good night. Yeah. He's like, oh, what? What am I gonna do with you guys? Show them my car side. What am I gonna do with you guys? Show them my car side. Yeah, don't worry.
That's what you worry about right now? What, okay.
That's the oldest one, so I think it's a little more in a chewing bag. I should have bought 2 packs of smokes. Like half my wife brings some cigars. Yeah. Hey. That's what I'm talking about. Mix in some questions here with jokes and shit. Buenos mas. What do you mean, Greg? So I'll hear you in content and tell me what you mean. Okay, Greg.
Officers interviewed neighbors, and one woman said she knew Dennis through his parents.
Is the person deceased?
He is.
I thought he was very familiar. I'm hoping that it's not Dennis Armenta. Very nice man. He lives with his parents. Even though he's in his 50s, he's quasi-immature. I don't want to get him in trouble, but he kind of, sort of, mental. He carries knives, sometimes wears the knives on himself. He has been arrested. I just hope it's not Dennis.
The next morning, Officer Ontiveros remained in the hospital while officials searched Dennis's vehicle, uncovering 18 knives, 10 axes, 3 hammers, a mace fashioned from 1-inch piping, a machete, and a coyote trap.
Nigga had all that shit in his truck. Damn, nigga. You can't be that protected. You feel me? Just bring like 2 pistols outside, man. Damn. All them fucking knives and machetes and shit. Like you going to war every day you come outside. You feel me? Nigga, what? I'm saying. What? What you saying?
Strap? Yeah, it's set. Was it set? Yeah. Really? It was set right here. And so I cuffed it. Was it stick to secure it so we couldn't
accident, that's it.
Officers also reviewed Dennis's criminal record, noting charges for criminal trespass, resisting, and attempted aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. In recent years, up to just a month before the incident, Dennis was charged for threatening retail, casino, medical staff, and even VA clinic workers. At the VA clinic, he allegedly waited in line with an axe slung over his shoulder, telling the clerk, "We do this my way, or your way." He often called police himself, sharing he was armed and angry, keeping everyone safe, and that if he wasn't, a coroner would be needed. Victims also reported he threatened to return with an AR-15 and shoot everyone. The police report also notes a key detail about Dennis's vehicle.
What's wrong with him? Dennis? Fuck this nigga. What? Yeah, he one of them crazy niggas that we can't be having in this world, folks. This nigga's... What the fuck?
The headlight that prompted the stop was not just inoperable. The housing was physically broken. Investigators speculated Dennis may have tampered with it beforehand. Combined with his self-recordings and his clear disdain for the local department, the report suggests Dennis may have been seeking an incident that night. In a post-incident interview, Dennis's father said it was inevitable, adding he thought Dennis would shoot someone, but never expected it to be a police officer. About a week after, on June 1st, 2025, Officer Timothy Ontiveros passed away. His organs were donated, saving 3 lives. Reports post-operation indicate the recipients are doing well. The investigation surrounding Dylan Weaver's conduct in the case is led by the San Juan County Sheriff's Office via their officer-involved shooting task force.
It's the stance of the 11th Judicial District Attorney's Office that we're going to start reading Miranda on all these. Bear with me real quick. You have your attorney with you, but you have the right to remain silent. You still have the right to stop answering anytime. You know, what type of training have you received in use of force or defensive actions?
Starting out in the academy, completed basic SWAT school, as well as an advanced tactical workshop, mandatory in-service training.
What type of training have you had in verbal communication or CIT?
Received the CIT crisis intervention training in the academy. I believe it's yearly in-service and crisis intervention training. When I arrived, I was concealing his identity as well as resisting for refusing the exit of the vehicle or roll the window down. And when I escalated and began attempting to break the window, he still failed to comply. I heard the shot. From that point, I remember feeling fear for my life and fear for...
But you talking about I just hear the shot, but what you think when you hear somebody window and shit like that, you bring them out, that type of shit, man? What you think? Something was gonna happen regardless. I mean, he already not even scared of y'all, you feel me? Another reason why that's why the other officer got popped.
Gross life. Since you've been a cop, you've had to draw your firearm, present it to people,
Yes.
and they've become compliant at that point. How did it make you feel personally to use the force you used?
We love that shit.
But I didn't have a feeling when using that.
What information did you know about the suspect prior to this action?
Nothing.
As far as you know, you've never dealt with this individual.
As far as I know.
As of posting this video, the case remains under investigation.